Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Today is October 23rd, 2019, right? I'm on October 23rd. Super excited to have the amazing Vanessa Pierce on the show. We're going to be talking about women in construction. We're going to talk about NAWIC, which she'll tell you all about in a little bit. So let us know you can hear us and see us. I don't know if you know, but when you go live, you can't tell who's actually watching when you go live from the page. Okay. So sometimes I get a heart and thumbs up, sometimes I don't. But the most important thing, as you guys know, you'll tell me later because they will pop on. It takes a minute on the business page. I love Facebook, but that's one of those things we were talking about earlier. So we have a beautiful view today. It's gorgeous outside. I don't know what the weather was like. Angelia Kennedy, what's up, honey? How you doing? Give us a thumbs up or a heart. Her event is tonight. She's got a networking event at Ace Cafe, I believe. Oh, nice. It's a fantastic event, so if you don't have any plans, you should definitely plan on going. It's a great networking event, and there's no cost to get in to her event. So Alexa's on. What's up? She's awesome. All right, so we got a heart and a thumbs up. All right, so I'm super excited. You do so much in town. We want to get to all of that. We want to get to women in construction, but people want to know a little bit about Vanessa. So give us a little origin story on you.
A little bit about me. Well, I was actually born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Big Red Sox fan, so if you're...
You don't speak that. Or can you go back to it?
I easily go back to it when visiting family. My husband actually can't stand a New England accent, so it's probably good for him that I've lost it. But I actually, yes, I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I adore it. I try to go back there at least once a year.
It's an amazing city.
It's such a clean city.
I was there in June.
You know, it's a little bit of an overcast, but honestly, the people are wonderful. It's a clean city.
And
there's so much to do. There's so much history. I'm a history buff. I love it. But I did move down to Florida when I was 11. And I've been here ever since, you know, despite traveling back to see family and getting stuck in the blizzard.
What made you come down here?
So my mom was a recently single mom, and she took me and my sisters. I have two sisters who are amazing. Hopefully they watch this today. They're my biggest fans, and I love them to death. But yeah, so we moved down here with my mom, and of course we were all on board because we're like, Disney, why not? You know, so
right? That's a perception.
So 100% on board with her move to Florida. And I am so glad that I ended up here because I absolutely adore it. I'm not a big fan of snow. I don't mind visiting it, but I have no desire to live in it and shovel it and all of that. And, you know, I've had such great opportunities here in Florida.
What'd you want to be when you grew up?
I actually wanted to be a cruise director. As honest, I don't know why, but that's what I wanted to be.
Are you old enough to remember the Love Boat TV show?
Yes, I saw some reruns of that.
Of course you did.
But you know, I did, and it was just something about traveling and being on a cruise and entertaining, and you know, being able to be in charge of all the systems of that. So,
plus you're having fun.
Yes. So clearly that plan changed along the way, as most, you know, childhood dreams do. Yeah. And I got married at the age of 21.
Wow.
Don't recommend it for those of you that are listening. No, I did. You know, it definitely distracted me as far as completing my college career.
Sure.
I had my daughter shortly thereafter, which I adore. Unfortunately, that relationship did not work out, and you know, it took a while to move on from that.
You were young.
I was young. It was not a great relationship. It was not healthy at all, and it got to the point that it was something that I needed to decide to do for the safety of myself and my daughter.
Sure.
So, not looking back and moving forward, and at that time I was working as a construction paralegal, Stephen Korshak.
How'd you get into that?
Actually, I started out at a staffing company and was placed with Korshak and Associates at the time, and they did a lot of real estate business and general litigation for, at the time, it was Island One. I don't know if you know them, but they had about 7 condominiums, and so I was in charge of the escrow deposits for all the units.
Wow.
And then shortly moved on after that to doing foreclosures on all of these units.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was a great opportunity for me. And my boss, Stephen Korshak at the time, was not only an attorney and managing partner, but he was a developer. And he also ended up buying some brokerages for Keller Williams. And so I got to do some property management with him. I was able to, tap into real estate. And he kept saying, if you really want to make the money, really want to make it, you need to get into real estate. And so he kept saying that. And I always did look up to him as a mentor. Again, I was very young. He took a chance on me, and I learned so much. And it really gave me that, that step in the right direction to get to where I needed to be later on.
Love that.
And so I adore him. Great man. He also owned a title company. So while I was doing, assisting attorneys, I was also doing closings.
You were learning all sides of the business.
I was wearing many hats, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so in doing the closings, it is rewarding to be able to explain the documents, to be able to see how rewarding it is to have home ownership and see all the different working parts, and being a processor, and even just the foreclosure side and deeding. I got into deeding. I could touch any way it happens through real estate. I had touched it.
I love that, because that gives you such a broad perspective of the transaction as a whole. So you've touched almost every single side of the deal.
Exactly. So I took that, and at the time I had met my now husband. We've been married 12 years, very blessed,
awesome.
Wonderful man, also in construction. He is the VP for construction for Pulte Homes. So he's a very busy man.
Very cool.
So it just so happens I just keep falling into real estate or construction. It just follows me wherever I go. And so after listening to him, I decided to take an opportunity at a construction law firm. And it was Moy O'Brien, Work, Pickett and Dillon. It's always these long names.
So many names.
But again, a great opportunity. And I was with them for probably 6 years, and then the managing attorneys kind of broke up, and maybe a year after one of the attorneys started his own practice, he tapped me on the shoulder and said, I need you. And so it was a hard decision for me, because I am very loyal.
Sure.
But I'm also an opportunistic person,
Sure.
and I like to continue to develop whatever way I can. So it was a great opportunity to go work at Martin Hild. Gregory Martin was, again, another mentor that just helped me develop. I got into, managing the office, running.
So you're moving
accounts.
Up. These aren't lateral necessarily.
This
is more knowledge as you go.
More knowledge, more opportunity, more breaking that glass ceiling that so many women have, or just people in any industry really, and just showing that I can do more, and I can be more, and I hunger for more. So I did. I took that journey and went there. And again, great opportunity. Was there for a few years, and decided that, Stephen Korshak was still in my head. He's like, real estate where the money is. Real estate, the sky's the limit. It is what you make it, And so it was a path that I never really completed. To be truthful, my first husband kind of distracted me from continuing that dream. It was a very controlling relationship, and it just made it quite difficult to complete that journey. And so I just kind of woke up one day feeling not fulfilled. I was a construction paralegal. Again, I'd been in the industry for 18 years, and at this point, and I just wanted more. I wanted to touch lives in ways that it had meaning, or I felt it. Instead of pushing papers, and a lot of our clients were in California, Maryland, you never saw them in the office. It was you and the computer and a ton of construction documents, requests for production. Like, there's so much documentation in construction and litigation, it's not even funny. That I just, and at the same time, my husband's career was taking off, and one of us just had to give. And so I was looking for flexibility. I was looking for just something more. So I decided, continuing to be, office manager, paralegal, to the managing partners, that I was going to go ahead and I'm going to take the course online for real estate, right? And so I did, and I let a year pass before taking the exam, and I was like, oh man, I've got to take this exam, or else I'm going to take the course again.
Take the class all over again.
Right. So after a year hiatus of actually, coming to fruition, I went ahead and took the exam. I didn't take a course. I didn't do anything other than go sit for the exam. Luckily, because of my experience and knowledge through doing, real estate and construction law, I passed the first time.
That paid off.
Yes, it definitely paid off. Again, taking an online course and then waiting a year to take the exam is probably not the best way to go about it.
We wouldn't necessarily recommend that for you.
It's not the path you probably want to take. However, I was very successful. I did a short stint with a good friend of mine, Debbie Rodriguez. Big shout out to Debbie. She is an amazing mentor. She has been such a change and light in my life. I did do her operation management for her construction staffing company for about a year, while I was just taking off and ready to
trying to figure it out, right?
Thing. But a huge leap of faith on my part, and it was a great experience with her. She owns 2 companies and a nonprofit, and she's just couldn't be a better mentor.
Love that.
So then I went ahead and I said, okay, now it's time to do me. And I jumped into real estate. I called an old attorney friend, Lorena Cardama, which I know you know.
I love me some Lorena.
So Lorena, funny story. So she worked with me at Coldwell and Associates. She started out as my assistant. I want to say she was probably 18 at the time, but I got to see her go to college, pursue, getting, her law degree, and I knew she was out there in the world just killing it after she opened up her own law firm. I knew her husband, Gil Ramos, which I know you know as well, as do many in the real estate industry. I knew her husband, who actually was my realtor through Lorena. He actually helped us sell our house and purchase a new one. I knew he was a broker, and I knew Lorena was someone I trusted. So instead of vetting brokers, I met with Gil, and I was like, I'm all in. Tell me which way to go.
Right.
Lead the way, which we all know Gil is great at coaching.
He's a fantastic person to bring that to, for sure.
Yeah. So it was great. I really enjoyed. I was with him for a year. It was an amazing year. I did 10 deals my first year, which really wasn't too shabby, considering I didn't know the statistics behind being a realtor and the success of a realtor and how competitive it was. I was never in sales, so it was a total change of pace for me.
Right.
But it was a great opportunity, and I really enjoyed it. Another dear friend of mine, Andre Williamson, ended up going to Coldwell Banker in Winter Park. And then I made the transition between their tools and culture that I was like, okay, this may be the best move to keep making my career grow. So that's where I ended up. I ended up, after maybe a year with them, doing management with their 500 some odd agents. And so I know it's crazy to believe in such a short stint in real estate that I could be managing a brokerage.
But you have all of this experience.
Yeah.
Like real estate, like residential sales real estate may be new to you, but you've got this amazing background that has so many caveats, so many moving parts to it.
Right.
And I love that, because sometimes just being in real estate, you could be in real estate for 10 years and have absolutely no idea how to manage people or understand the transaction outside of what you've done.
Right. Or taking the time to develop people. That's one thing I felt coming into this. It was a sink or swim type of thing. And I realized there's that competitive nature of salespeople, where there's 16,000 of us in this area trying to do the same thing. And so I understand that. But I'm also the type of person that likes to develop people and encourage people and give them the pieces, not feed them every piece of the puzzle, let them make it their own. But I do believe in making people, who they're meant to be. So, obviously I do a lot in the community. That's just
let's talk about NAWIC.
Okay,
right?
So
what does NAWIC mean?
So
give them a background on that.
So NAWIC is the National Association of Women in Construction,
which I didn't know existed before you. I want you to know.
We are the best kept secret.
Yeah.
I am a part of many associations. I sit on quite a few boards, as you know, and they actually were my start to doing that. They gave me that confidence. I started as a construction paralegal, working at Martin Hild. I heard about it from an attorney that I worked with, and she encouraged me to go. And so I went. I didn't know what to expect. Your boss tells you should go, pays for you to go. Why not? So you think maybe, you go into it thinking I'm going to be able to network, I'm going to get business, everything that, would intrigue you, right, to spend your time or money to join something. And it wasn't long that I realized it was so much more than that. This is a true sisterhood. It is, such a great opportunity to develop and meet a mentor, be a mentee, get that education, get that opportunity to grow in leadership. It was the first board I'd ever served on. And again, I've been a member for 5 years. And they were so supportive when I did switch into selling real estate, whether it's commercial or residential, that they were giving me business. So these aren't even, it's not just friendships I built over the last 5 years as being a paralegal transitioning into real estate, or even just operations manager for a skilled staffing construction company. These are people that want to do business with you. These are people that are your extended family.
So talk about a little bit, because you've got the construction background. What if you don't have the construction background?
That is the amazing thing about construction. So you don't have to go to a college to get into construction. You certainly can. My husband did. He went to UF, and he is in construction management and does very well for himself. He's one of the few fortunate ones that actually had a scholarship, full ride to go. Not everybody is so lucky, and we need to stop assuming as a society that everyone can afford to go to college.
Right.
And we need to start recognizing that there shouldn't be a negative stigma on people working in construction, whether you're a man or a woman. It has such a bad stigma, and you don't have to go to college. There's plenty of companies that are willing to send you to an apprenticeship program and pay for it. They're willing to do on-the-job training. So you can end up...
Do a little research.
With the money that people are paying to go to college for the same position, you can start out at a company, they will pay for you to go, and you do not have the college debt that they are carrying.
Not everybody's meant to go
and
to
not
college.
everybody's meant to be.
Yeah.
So, and just know that, there's such a shortage right now, and there's so much need for commercial or residential, whichever one is your calling.
We were talking about that earlier.
That,
it's crazy.
There's a labor shortage.
Yeah.
And, so there's a great need for women or men to get into construction. And NAWIC actually supports whatever way that you touch construction. So our mission statement is to encourage and support women in construction, and that really genuinely means any way it touches the industry.
So talk about that. So do you have to be a woman to be a part of NAWIC?
So you do. It is
Right.
a women empowerment. There's actually 9.2% of women make up the construction workforce, and that's a really small.
And do you have to
sad
be in
statistic.
construction?
So no.
Okay.
So it has to touch construction in some way. So you can be an engineer, you can be a project manager, you can be a tradeswoman, you can be a realtor, you can be an insurance person, a bond, a bank, title, attorney, whatever way it touches construction.
Right.
And we as realtors couldn't be realtors if we didn't have builders.
Correct.
We always need buildings, we're always going to need residential.
Right.
And so it's just a huge opportunity for you to help the community, to support women. And again, even though it is a women-focused group, we welcome males to come as speakers or teachers. There's many programs that we put on. The first one is Block Kids, which we do in January.
What's it called?
Block Kids. It's a Block Kids event, and it supports just bringing knowledge to children that are in kindergarten through 6th grade. And so this year, again, we'll be holding it at OCPS, Mid-Florida Tech. Huge shout out to Dr. Armbruster. He's a huge supporter of our association in developing this. They have a great program out at Westside for construction. And anyways, it's a contest for kids. It's a national contest. And so you compete on the local level. At our event, you get a string, a piece of aluminum foil, a rock, and Legos, and we just ask that you build something construction
It's
related.
the Lego one. I
Yes.
just saw that,
Yes.
I think.
The, the library system also hosts one, and we actually judge it because we have a lot of partners in the industry that we support. And so, anyways, I encourage you, if you're in the school industry, or you know a kid that would like to attend something like this, just let me know. I'll send you the information. But we usually have about 130 kids
That's awesome.
that attend this event, and it's a great exposure to the kids to be creative and think about a career in construction and see different ways that the membership touches construction, and let the parents know why. Why would they want to have their kid get into construction? Construction workers can make up to 6 figures. There's no reason why not to get into construction. Sure. Another event that we do that people don't know about is a construction career camp. It's a free camp, free for teenagers. There's not a lot of program for teenagers during the summer.
Agreed.
And at that, a lot of non-free camps. So it's a week-long program where girls getting into 9th grade through 12th grade can come to this camp, and they will learn welding, electrical, plumbing, carpentry. They'll learn how to go on a job interview. They'll meet all these fabulous women in construction, and it's just a great way to mentor our future, because quite frankly, the people in the skilled trades or even construction management, they're retiring. They need a replacement.
Right.
And where is that going to come from? So we need to start talking about this openly and in a positive way, that it's not a negative thing to get into construction. You know, it's not an easy task to become an engineer or a project manager.
I think people when they think of construction, they think of either day labor that they see on the road, right? So you've got to be a big, strong dude to be in construction. Which there are those jobs, don't get me wrong.
Right.
There's a lot of outside work, but I think there's so many different ways to touch the construction industry. And so if you have any interest in that, you shouldn't just assume that you're going to be at the day labor pool. Nothing against it, because it feeds, believe me, it feeds
It's still
people.
a need. It's
still a huge need.
You know, we just need people to, this is soft skills. It's hard to find people that are willing to show up, especially work in Florida heat. And, you know, there's a need. And, you know, I respect people that are doing that every day.
And are you you're currently the leader of the chapter?
I am. I am the president of our Greater Orlando chapter. We have about 150 members in our chapter, 4,000 members throughout the nation.
Wow.
And we are the largest chapter, and we're growing.
And how does a woman who is touched by this, or touches the construction industry, either way, get involved?
Well, the first step would be my guest at one of the meetings. You can come to 3 meetings, you know, just for the cost of the dinner, and just test and see if it's for you. Is there a good fit for you? We have so many community partners that we work with. Again, I spoke of Debbie Rodriguez earlier. She has a nonprofit called I Build Central Florida. You can go to her website, ibuildcentralflorida.org, and you can see the resources. They'll show you the iCarp, you know, carpentry apprenticeship program. You can tap into the pipe program, the FEET program, you know, whether it's plumbing, electrical is essentially what those are. Or even, you know, the education arm is a big support for us to help people. And so you can get in touch with Valencia, you can get in touch with Orange Technical College, Seminole College. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right.
So you can certainly reach out to me personally, and we can put the links in later. But there's so many community partners. There's even the ACT program that puts high school students to work over the summer. It engages them and offers them a job opportunity when they complete high school, or even if it's over the summer, and it gives them a taste of the industry. There's so many working elements right now. Even if you want to participate in our WIC Week, which is Women in Construction Week. We have it in March, and it's basically to bring awareness to the construction industry. And we also do a women's build with Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, that's cool.
And actually, Jacqueline Boykin, shout out to you. She's my VP this year. She's also happens to be the VP for Development for Habitat for Humanity, Orlando and Osceola. Amazing woman if you ever get to meet her. But we do a women's build as a NAWIC group every year in March. And it's a great opportunity, you know, as a realtor and a human being and a participant in our community, to help make affordable housing and stand side by side with other women that are in the industry, and just, you know, doing something positive for the day. So even if it's you just want to participate in that event, you know, we welcome you to do so. Or even if you have...
When's the next, it's dinners, right? By the way, hey, Jeff Rogers, it's dinners.
Yes, so we have dinners the second Tuesday of every month. We hold them at Dub's Dread, although our November meeting will be at the Highland Manor. And it starts, the networking is from 5:30 to 6, and the meetings start and end between 6 and 8. Now, if you're not a member and you just want to hear the speaker, you can certainly leave before we talk membership type of, you know, issues. But it is such a great opportunity to meet so many leaders in this community. And again, it's any way it touches construction. And you don't have to be just commercial, you don't have to be just residential. We welcome everyone. We want to empower the women around us. Again, it's a great networking tool.
November 20...
It's November 12th. It's
November
the second
12th.
Tuesday of every month. That one will be at Highland Manor. So
All right.
second Tuesday of every month.
And I put the link for the NAWIC chapter, the Facebook chapter. They can go there and probably begin to get information.
Right. So if they attend a meeting, then they can get membership information. You can go to NAWIC.org, which is the national website as well, and apply for membership. I will welcome anyone that wants to attend and help introduce you. I am pretty confident that I know everyone in the chapter, even though there's a lot of us. But there's so many opportunities. Again, there's other programs that we put on. There's a drafting competition we do for high school students. We do OCPS teach-ins about the career. We are working with the Girl Scouts to earn an engineer badge. So there's so much we're trying to do in the community and just raise awareness. I know probably for the past 3 years, in December, we do contributions to Harbor House, which is near and dear to my heart. And we're helping those women get job opportunities, donate booths to get on the sites, and give them that, hand up. And so I just, if you want more information about all of those things, just reach out, because there's so much to tell.
So we're going to provide all of Vanessa's contact information, how you can reach out to her. I mean, we gave you the links, but when she shares the show after we're done, she'll put the links in there. There's no way that you can't find her, but for some reason you can't, reach out to me and I'll put you in contact with her. I just think that it touches so many people, and I love the fact that there's so many programs that it's not just about the networking and the business, it's about what they're doing in the community, and that's so critical. That's why I love what NAWIC does. All right, so you mentioned a few. You jumped the gun on me. You gave all these mentors. I loved every second of it. So if you want to recap that or give a shout out to a different one, we'd love to talk about mentors on the show. Why? We have a giant shortage of mentors. So if you need to be mentored or you want to be a mentor, it's super important for you to get involved in your community and reach out, because all of us have been touched by someone, have been encouraged, have changed our lives, like Vanessa was talking about earlier, because they believed in us. So if you can give a shout out again, if you want to mention the same people, that's fine.
Yes. Well, there's really so many women that have been so influential as far as construction, and even in real estate. I've had so many different mentors, and people saying you can do this. Who would have thought transitioning from a construction paralegal into a realtor, I would have gotten the Good Neighbor Award or 20 under 40 within the first year, and now I'm a director on the Aura board. And, it's really about having that support base underneath you to keep pushing you forward. And if I had never joined the board of NAWIC, I don't know that I ever would have gone so far to seek that anywhere else. So, don't miss out on that opportunity. I have so many people that, again, Debbie Rodriguez is phenomenal. She owns Quality Labor Management. She has Competitive Edge and Partners, and she has a nonprofit, iBuild. And she is a mover and shaker in this community. If you haven't met her,
she sounds
have her
super
on your show.
busy. I want to have her on my show.
She's she's so authentic. You would love her. But she really invests in her mentees, and that's one thing NAWIC has, is we have a mentor and mentee program. And so if you find something that you want to be a mentee or a mentor on, or you don't think that you can be a mentor, and you suddenly find yourself someone reaching out to you saying, hey, can you mentor me on this? And you're like, wait, really? Okay.
Right.
Well, never say no. I actually, Kizzy Ferrer is a mentor from our chapter, and she actually inspired me to take the Dale Carnegie course.
See?
And I took that in not knowing what I would get out of it, but it really did teach me to never say no. And if you have the opportunity, always say yes. Within reason, because time management is a big thing too. But
we were just talking about that.
Give back to yourself and give back to your community. That's the biggest thing that you can do, and to your industry. I know sales, it's a very competitive line of work, but it doesn't need to be. It really doesn't. And we should be empowering each other.
Collaboration, people.
Right. It's what it's about, and making those connections and inspiring people and helping people grow, helping them be more ethical, helping them really be more professional, and learn all the different things that maybe they don't know going into it. So we need to do better on that.
Awesome. And be on time.
Be on time. I know this guy. I watched his last episode about
watch
being on
out.
time.
Oh, I got lots of comments on that.
I was starting to
you were 100% on time and early. I loved every second of it. You're a joy to have on, Vanessa Pierce. She's amazing. NAWIC, I tagged it. NAWIC Greater Orlando chapter 73. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys. We'll reach back out to you, all of those of you who made comments. Reach out to Vanessa. She's just as authentic and accessible as she seems on the show. That's who she really is. So we love you guys. We'll see you around 3:30. Mwah. Talk to you later.